the NFC South were the worst division in the 2023 NFL season. In today's video, we're going to team up the whole division to see if they can win the Super Bowl. As y'all boys should know, the NFC South consists of the Buccaneers, the Panthers, the Falcons, and the Saints, man. So as we can see, we have some of the biggest superstars out this division, from Kyle Pitts to Mike Evans to Alvin Kamara, and we even have Bijan Robinson as a backup for Alvin Kamara, man. So this team on offense is pretty decent. Now, considering this is the worst division in the league, man, this team is still not super stacked, so they still have a chance at losing. But let's head over to the defense. I feel like the defense is where this team can really be strong at. So as y'all can see, man, we have Jesse Bates, Marshawn Lattimore, and AJ Terrell. This secondary should be shut down, and Tyrann Mathieu back there. Now, as we take a look at these linebackers, superstars and X factors all across the board, man. So the run game should be locked, man. But y'all know how EA is with this sim stuff. They will find a way to make us lose. But this is the NFC South roster, man. So let's go ahead and hop into our first game. Oh, man. Here we have Baker coming out with his newly acquired weapons, man. Here he is dropping back, looks for his receiver, and is not able to find him. Now, I do feel like that is the biggest hole within this NFC South team. Because Baker Mayfield, as y'all know, he's not the worst of the worst quarterbacks, but he is pretty mid as far as when you compare him to the other quarterbacks in the league, man. But hopefully we can rely on this run game a little bit from Alvin Kamara and Bijan to open up the pass game, just to kind of make it a little bit easier for Baker Mayfield, take the pressure off of him. But he does have some weapons at hand, man. As we can see, there goes Chris Olave. I'm tweaking, chat. But there goes Olave for the quick 10-yard pickup. Here we have Baker Mayfield coming out, some single back action. Now, me personally, I might want to go on the depth chart and change our power back. Hold on. I might have spoke too soon. Here we have Alvin Kamara breaking loose for a very big game. But we do want our under center runs to come from Bijan, while in the past game, you want to see some more Alvin Kamara, because y'all know that's where Alvin Kamara is a threat out most. Not saying Bijan Robinson can't do it, but we just want to see him get shifty, getting off those handoffs. But here we have a play action coming in. And like I said, that run game does open up the pass game, as Baker Mayfield does find the receiver he's familiar with, Mike Evans, for the big game, putting them on the 14-yard line, man. So here we have some more single back options, man, as we go for the stretch to Alvin Kamara, as he does get stuffed at the line of scrimmage. But yeah, I'm gonna have to go in the depth chart and go ahead and fix that running back scheme up a little bit, just so we can see Bijan on the field, give him some opportunities. Because like y'all see, man, Alvin Kamara is getting stuffed at the line after his very big run, putting us at a 3rd and long, man. Can Baker Mayfield convert for us in order to pick up this touchdown, in order to get us towards our win in our very first game of the season against the Vikings, man? But here he is dropping back, looking to the end zone, and he does find Kyle Pitts, man, his newly acquired tight end, for the touchdown in the back of the end zone. Very great pass and very good offensive possession for this to be their first game together. All right, y'all, man. Here we are with our simcast, as the Vikings do go down and drive for a touchdown, stopping the Buccaneers shortly after, getting another tutty, putting the score at 21-10, with the Buccaneers scoring a field goal. Now, what it looks like to me is our defense cannot hold anything, man. They can't hold water if they had to. But that's going to do it. That is going to be the game, with the Minnesota Vikings coming out on top, man. But hopefully we might have to switch up the scheme a bit to kind of get our chemistry right within this roster, because pairing up a bunch of superstars doesn't always work. But let's go ahead and look at these stats to see how well our players are doing, see whose fault it was. So here we have Baker Mayfield with an 85 QB rating, with 201 yards and 1 touchdown on 65 pass completion percentage. But in order for us to go to the playoffs and go on an actual Super Bowl run, we're going to need a very way better game than this from Baker Mayfield. Let's look at the run game now. Alvin Kamara did perform very well. Besides this one fumble, he had 80 yards. We want to see him get in the end zone a little bit more, with Mike Evans being the leading receiver on this team, and Kyle Pitts getting that very first touchdown, as we saw. But in order for us to go ahead and bring the Super Bowl home, Baker Mayfield is going to have to get some more touchdowns, way more touchdowns than just one touchdown, if he wants to win the Super Bowl. Through this season, the NFC South find themselves being number 2 in the division some way, somehow. I don't even know how you fall to number 2 in a division that you have all their players on, but they are 3-3 right now at the midseason mark, coming in at the number 21st in offense, man. So this offense right now is struggling really, really, really badly. I will probably make some adjustments, hopefully try and make a better scheme fit for the rest of the season, just so they have a better shot at winning games. Because clearly this Baker Mayfield ran offense is not suitable for all the new players that have joined together to form this team, man. But let's take a look at the stats, see how well each player is doing individually. And as y'all seen right there, the defense has also been playing very, very well. So it's all on the offense right now. But let's go ahead and take a look on how well these players are doing. So we have Baker Mayfield with 1,200 yards, 9 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 67 pass completion percentage, which isn't the worst, but he's gonna have to pick it up a lot for the second half of the season in order to even make playoffs, let alone make it to the Super Bowl. Here we have this run-heavy offense with Alvin Kamara getting 103 touches with 450 yards, only 2 touchdowns though, with Baker Mayfield having 2 scramble touchdowns and Bijan Robinson also having 2 scrambling touchdowns. Let's look at these receiving stats. Who's leading this team in receiving yards? Now, not surprisingly at all, Baker Mayfield's in real life receiver, which is the best receiver in the NFC South, does have the most receiving yards on the team with 478 and 6 touchdowns, who's clearly leading by far over all the other receivers. And then here we have Chris Godwin and Chris Olave with 216 yards and 230 yards, and Kyle Pitts with 184 yards and that first touchdown from the first game of the season. Now let's see who's been our playmaker so far on defense, because that could really change the whole dynamic of the game. Now, of course, the 2 best players in the secondary, I would say, in my opinion, have the most amount of interceptions. Marshawn Lattimore coming in at 2 interceptions and Jesse Bates having 1. Now let's look at these D linemen. Shaq Barrett, who is familiar with the defense, so it makes a whole lot of sense that he does have the most sacks on the team. But Brian Burns, Derek Brown, and a few other D linemen have a higher overall than him blitzing, so they're gonna have to pick it up. But that defense has been playing exceptionally well. So what we're just gonna have to do is we're gonna have to change up the offensive scheme a bit just to suit that offense a lot better, and that defense could just perform how they're performing, and we have a good chance at making the playoffs. Now, the Super Bowl has a little question mark by its name, but we're going to have to see how that goes. Further adjustments to this NFC South team. They found themselves winning the division, going 10-7, having to play the Rams in the wild card game. But if we take a look down here at the bottom, we can see that the offense has improved drastically, especially in the pass game, reaching the number 5 offensive pass yards per game, and the 10th offensive rush yards per game, with that defense being the number 1 defense in the league in terms of points per game. So let's go ahead and see who's improved this much within this new scheme change and things like that. So we have Baker Mayfield 5th in passing yards on the season with 4,200 yards, 29 tutties, and 5 intos with a 66 pass completion percentage. Now this did go down slightly, but I feel like the volume in which he was passing the ball also went up, so I can't be too mad at him for his completion percentage going down. As far as the run game goes, Alvin Kamara did very, very well, breaking 1,000 yards with 8 touchdowns, and then Bijan Robinson having 7 touchdowns, which is very, very clutch. It looks like they're just using him as a big red zone threat to kind of just punch it in once they get in that red zone and stuff like that. But both of them only have 1 rushing fumble on the year, which is very good, with Kyle Pitts having 2, which may end up being a problem here in the postseason. But I'm guessing Mike Evans is still number 1. Yes, Mike Evans and Chris Godwin do break 1,000 yards on the season. Now, how ironic is this? Just the fact that we are on the Buccaneers and Baker Mayfield is their QB. But Kyle Pitts did find his way and improving within this offense over the second half of the season, becoming the 3rd option on this team with 67 receptions, 758 yards, and 5 touchdowns, which is very, very good just for a tight end, especially when you have these weapons at receiver. So that is pretty good. He can come up big and be a very useful weapon in this playoff series and playoffs run. Now, once again, let's take a look at these playmakers on this team. Now, here we have Antoine Winfield gaining 3 interceptions in just the second half of the season, with Jesse Bates also gaining one himself. Now, as y'all saw, man, our defense is the #1 defense in the league, so we will be playing through them, man. But let's go ahead and hop into our first playoff game. First playoff game, we have us coming out in a quick read option, which is very weird, man. I don't know if they've been doing that all season long, but if Baker got to get loose in order to win the game, that's what's gonna have to happen, man. But hopefully we get to see these weapons utilized properly from Baker, see his improvement from that first game, because as y'all saw, man, he was only able to score 1 touchdown in the whole entire game. But here we have Alvin Kamara producing per usual, man. As y'all seen, he had about, what was it, like 1,400 yards on the season. So we're looking to see that in this game, man. But here we have it, Alvin Kamara at the top of the screen, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin at the bottom, and there you have it. He targets Alvin Kamara on the deep out route, and he's unable to connect with the pass, man. I want to see a little bit less of that, you feel me? But here we are coming right back out in 5 wide, man. Please, Baker Mayfield, throw to your receivers instead of, you feel me, your halfback. There he is, finding his his secondary receiver across the middle of the field, and Chris Godwin for the big game, man. That was a beautiful die. I ain't gonna fake it. But here we have it. Baker Mayfield and the Buccaneers coming out and single back, hitting Alvin Kamara on that stretch with him gaining. Oh, he breaks 1 tackle and he does almost get the first down, making it 2nd and 1. That's a good run from Alvin Kamara. Right now, it looks like the offense is going, man. Unfortunately, our defense, our #1 defense, let up points on their first possession, but it's all good. There we have it. Baker Mayfield, I think that was Kyle Pitts. He was trying to hit Kyle Pitts across the middle of the field, unable to connect on that one with Kyle Pitts being wide open, unfortunately. But here we have, this offense has been running 5 wide a lot, man. So it looks like we've been in a pass-heavy offense since the adjustment in the midseason, as Alvin Kamara has been toting and moving the chains for this team, man. Once again, 1st and 10, approaching the red zone here, coming out in a strong formation. I want to see how this goes. Are we going to hand it off? Nope, he drops back once again. Finds his receiver on the outside and Mike Evans. You know they already have that connection because they actually play with each other, you feel me? But we want to see Chris Olave be worked into this offense because, as we all know, Chris Olave is nice and he's like that. And he deserves to get some touches, you feel me? He is a playmaker as well. But here we have Baker Mayfield dropping back, looking to the left side of the field for his tight end. That's actually his 2nd tight end, I believe, which is also his real target in real life. For some reason, Baker finds love, and he likes going to his real receivers, you feel me? But let's see if they can get in the end zone here as he drops back, and he does find Chris Olave for the tutty, man. Great first drive from Baker Mayfield and his NFC South team. And here we are, super simming the game with both teams scoring back-to-back touchdowns and that defense getting a stop for us to go down and score another touchdown, man. Here we are up 2 possessions, approaching the 4th quarter. At the top of the 4th, the Rams do go down and score a touchdown, but we quickly respond, putting them out of their misery to bring us to our first playoff win in the wild card round. Baker Mayfield threw 254 yards and 4 touchdowns on 82 completion percentage, man. Baker did not come to play in his first playoff game on this NFC South team. As we can see, Alvin Kamara toting that rock the whole game with 76 yards and 1 tutty. As far as receiving goes, let's go ahead and look. We have Chris Godwin leading today's game with 106 yards and a touchdown. Don't forget Mike Evans and Chris Olave do have a touchdown themselves, which is very, very good. So that should go ahead and do it for the first game. Let's go ahead and hop into our next one. Feeding the Rams in that first game of the playoffs. We are going against the Dallas Cowboys here. Now, as we know, the Dallas Cowboys do have a unit, but they can't do nothing with a whole division. You feel me? Like, I don't think it should be a single NFL team that can handle a whole division. There's no way this division is this bad to where they would lose to a singular team. You feel me? But here we have Baker Mayfield dropping back, looking to pass the ball. He throws it deep and finds Chris Olave deep down the field, man. Like I was saying earlier, Chris Olave is a playmaker. He can get the job done. You just got to hit him. You feel me? And give him the opportunity to make something shake. Now, here we have Baker Mayfield coming out in the strong, feeding Alvin Kamara. He's able to break the first tackle, but stops short of the first down, making it 2nd and 7, man. Let's go, Baker Mayfield, man. We need you to perform this game. But unfortunately, our defense did allow another touchdown in the first possession of the game. But it's cool, though, because Baker Mayfield is coming out guns blazing. Baker Mayfield said you don't want to have a shootout with Baker Mayfield. But here we have him coming out in a single back. Hopefully we can get a good run here from Alvin Kamara. Here they are running the stretch towards the outside, towards the left side of the field. If he was able to break that tackle, he would have had way more yards than that. But that's not a bad run. Gaining about 7 yards, making it 2nd and 3. Now here we are in the red zone, man. Last time, Chris Olave was the red zone target. Let's see if he's able to do it again, or is Baker Mayfield going to go to old reliable and find one of his other receivers? But here we have Alvin Kamara making the plays himself. We may not even have to pass it down here with the way Alvin Kamara is running. So it's looking like a 3rd and goal, man. Yep. So I already knew they was probably going to have to come out in a shotgun formation. But I'm curious to see who is he going to pass it to? Who can he find in this red zone as he scrambles to the outside? Is he going to run it in himself? No, he's not. He's going to find his #1 target in Mike Evans. And here we have our Super Sim active as Dallas goes down to score another touchdown and stops us. But we do get the ball back quick and score. Now we are in the second half. We are up 3, man. We might have to jump in to see some of these possessions as it is a close game as the Dallas Cowboys go down to score. I want to watch this possession, man. Can we go down and clutch this up? Can we get this stop here? This is a big defensive possession right here. As one of our linebackers do make the tackle, I believe that's Levante David making the big tackle. It is 3rd and 2. If we get the stop here, we're going to have about a minute left on the clock to go down and score. And unfortunately, that should do it. Here are the stats from our loss in the playoffs to the Dallas Cowboys. Now, as we can see, it looks like we got away from what was working, man. The passing game heated up towards the second half of the season, and it was great in that first playoff game in the wild card round. But here, as we can see, not a terrible game from Baker Mayfield with him going 13 for 18 with 181 yards, 72 pass completion precision, 1 touchdown, 0 interceptions. Like I said, it looks like we just went away from what was working. Alvin Kamara was eaten up, though, with 93 yards, but he wasn't able to get any touchdowns on this game with Bijan Robinson taking his 2 touchdowns. And as far as receiving goes, I'm pretty sure it should be Mike Evans leading. Yep. With 72 yards, 1 touchdown, as we saw earlier. Chris Olave being that #2 with 68 yards and 3 receptions, and Chris Godwin having the worst game that we've seen him have so far. And Kyle Pitts nowhere to be found in this playoff game. So pretty self-explanatory to why they lost this game, man. But let's go ahead and hop into the outro. Division in the league teaming up, they were able to make a 2-round playoff push, falling short to the Dallas Cowboys. But in this season, they were able to conquer the division and have the #1 defense in the league, man. But if y'all enjoyed this video, be sure to like, comment, subscribe. It's your boy tgbbean, and I'm out.